The graphic I'm about to put on the screen can teach us so much about the ATP Top 20 and how well they actually serve. I featured it on this week's edition of The Draw, my weekly newsletter that curates the best tennis content on the internet every week. Go to thedraw.tennis to subscribe. Here's why I love this. It shows us serve accuracy, spot serving. It is extremely difficult with the naked eye to evaluate spot serving. Now, if you give me one individual point and we see a serve, most people can look at the serve and say that was an accurate serve where the server hit their target, or that was an inaccurate serve where they missed their target. However, over the course of hundreds and hundreds of serves throughout a match, unless you're really forcing yourself to focus on spot serving, it's very difficult to make quality observations over the long term of how well somebody or how accurately somebody is serving. And this is going to use ball tracking data to do it for us. What Tennis Insights is able to do here is measure how far from the sideline on average the ball bounces on a given serve. And they've taken body serves, which would skew this data. They've taken the body serve out of the sample. I turned this chart into a ranking, and I was able to rank the top 20 by average speed and average accuracy. If you want to see that ranking, check out the description of this video. But now I want to get into my takeaways, what I learned from looking at this. First of all, here's what I didn't learn. These are things that didn't surprise me. Djokovic has an exceptionally accurate serve, second most accurate in the top 20. I figured that would be the case. There is a reason why, without remarkable speed, Djokovic is able to dictate behind his serve on a consistent basis and get free points and aces at a much higher rate than you would typically expect for somebody with his serve speed. 2, Hurkacz, he's levels above everybody else. He is the current king of serving on the ATP. Number 1 in speed, number 1 in accuracy. That does not surprise me. Another thing that didn't surprise me, Zverev, his incredible first serve percentage comes at a cost of hitting close to the lines. Zverev is number 2 in the top 20 in average serve speed, but he's number 1 in the top 20 in first serve percentage. That's not on this graphic, but it's true. How could somebody who hits their serve so big make such a high percentage? Well, the answer is in the location. Zverev ranks 12th in the top 20 in serve location. The reason his percentages are so high is because he's not choosing targets that are very close to the sidelines. He's taking less risk on every serve. Another thing that didn't surprise me, Ben Shelton doesn't hit his spots. This is why his serve, despite being very fast and very, very, very spinny, and in fairness to Ben, if spin were on here, I bet he'd be number 1. And part of what makes his serve difficult to return is how much action or movement he has on his serve. But despite all this, he does need to start hitting his spots better. He's second worst among the top 20 players in serve accuracy. And that is why, against a player like Adrian Mannarino at the Australian Open this year, his serve goes long periods of time without actually producing as much damage, as many free points, as many easy +1 opportunities as Ben Shelton would like it to create. So he's a perfect example. Spot serving matters. The last thing that I'll say did not surprise me is Carlos Alcaraz. Tour average in speed, but third worst in accuracy. I have been saying this about the Alcaraz serve. The speed is basically fine. Yes, it's on the lower end of the top 20, but as far as most players on tour go, Alcaraz is just average. It's the location where he lags behind his peers in a much more meaningful way. There are 3 things that did surprise me when I saw this graphic. I went, whoa, I really would not have guessed that from just watching these guys play. 1, Minaur, extremely inaccurate. And maybe it's because I've just never looked at his serve as a weapon. I've associated that weakness partially with his technique, partially with his height and his overall size. But in reality, it's the inaccuracy that is making the, kind of average speeds that much worse. So it was surprising to see Minaur with the least accurate serve in the ATP Top 20. Dimitrov's serve. I knew it was good. You look at this and you're very inclined to say, no, it's not just good, it's great. It is the third fastest and the third most accurate. We have seen Dimitrov's results in the last year really pick up. There's been a real increase there. And I think the serve is a huge reason why. This data reinforces that. Grigor has not only been deadly on the first serve, but he has been deadly on the forehand. And that in combination has made him a really, really difficult opponent to crack. The last thing that did surprise me, Medvedev's serve pace is in the median. It is the median of the top 20. It is the 10th fastest serve in the top 20. And I would have expected him to be higher. Obviously, he's 6'6". Big serving is part of how I would characterize Daniil Medvedev as a player. But in terms of speed and accuracy, he's kind of in the bunch. He's in the mix. He doesn't really separate himself. Certainly not like Zverev, Hurkacz, Dimitrov, even Tsitsipas, and Djokovic do in certain areas. And that is very interesting. The last thing I want to talk about before I wrap up, this gives us a chance to look at how important is serving. Because Tennis Insights includes the tour average here within this data. Well, it turns out that 17 of the top 20 players are above tour average in serve speed. The only 3 players in the top 20 who are below tour average in speed is Tommy Paul, Cam Norrie, and Adrian Mannarino. So that is a pretty hefty endorsement for serve speed mattering, for there to be a strong correlation between good hard serves and top 20 success. And then in terms of accuracy, the correlation is not quite as strong, but it's still somewhat strong. 12 of the top 20 players are above tour average in serve accuracy. So shout out to Tennis Insights for putting this together. It is extremely helpful. It's making tennis fans smarter. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.